Hello Tigers! I know that staff and families have been waiting for an announcement regarding the Allegan Public Schools Safe Start Plan. These decisions are not to be taken lightly, and we did not want to rush into anything without doing our due diligence. The intent of this video is not to provide every detail related to the plan, but to update you on some of the most pressing and time-sensitive issues. So what have we been doing since the governor announced her Michigan Safe Start Roadmap on June 30th? We first analyzed the 63-page document to determine what we were permitted to do, what was within our control, and what was going to be mandated by the state. We then surveyed all APS staff and received almost 200 responses. We then surveyed families and received over 500 responses. All of that data was then analyzed in an attempt to find common themes, concerns, and hopes. The county superintendents have been meeting frequently with the Allegan County Health Department in attendance. District leadership teams have been meeting, and subcommittees with multiple stakeholder units represented have been formed to help us respond to the requirements in the Safe Start Plan. So after all of this data collection, analysis, and committee meetings, the main theme that arose was that our staff and community are very divided as to what is the right thing to do. There's definite division on the choice of instructional model upon returning, and whether it should be a fully face-to-face model or a hybrid of face-to-face instruction combined with remote learning, with arguments coming from our community and staff on both sides of the issue. The other issue that our surveys are indicating is divisive is facial coverings. In case you were not aware, if we are permitted to have face-to-face instruction, students in grades 6 through 12 are required to wear facial coverings, and all students must wear facial coverings on school buses regardless of their age. There is an exemption for students that cannot medically tolerate a mask, and the school will need medical documentation to exempt any student from wearing a mask that is required to do so. This would be similar to what we require for other medical accommodations or concerns. In regard to K-5 students, the state plan indicates that elementary mask wearing is strongly recommended, but not required. Allegan Public is choosing to not mandate masks for this age group, but instead work on a plan to keep students, as much as possible, around just their own class. This concept is known as cohorting and limits what is called commingling outside of their class, and it can be an effective mitigation strategy. Any K-5 family that would want to wear a face covering may certainly do so. Students in grades 6 through 12 will likely have movement throughout the building, but will be wearing face coverings unless they provide medical documentation as the state order mandates. If there is one common theme, it is that we all want all of our kids back to school to the maximum extent possible, as long as we can keep everyone safe. There is no such thing as zero risk in anything that we do in life, but we can implement risk reduction measures to increase safety in all of our schools. I hope another point that we can all agree upon is that we truly do not know how our children will respond to risk reduction measures. We cannot simply expect children to know how to engage in proactive and safe mitigating strategies, but if there is one thing that we do know how to do, even in a pandemic, is teach. With that in mind, I'd like to outline our plan for returning to school this fall. Each scenario is based upon the phase that the state is in, as that is how the Michigan Safe Start Roadmap is organized. At the time of this video, our region is in Phase 4, improving. We are in Region 3, which includes the counties of Allegan, Kalamazoo, Van Buren, Berry, Calhoun, Berrien, St. Joseph, Cass, and Branch. This means that even if Allegan County is doing well, other counties will have an influence as to what phase we are in. In Phases 1 through 3, the Michigan Safe Start Roadmap mandates that schools are closed for in-person instruction. Families will have two options to consider. Allegan Public Schools remote learning will be taught and managed by the teachers that your child would have when we return to school. They would maintain their seat and enrollment status in classes. This option is for families that are hoping for a traditional school, and your program would change when the state reaches Phase 4. Option 2 is Allegan Online. This is a fully online program taught by APS state-certified teachers. This option is for families who are more comfortable with online learning during these difficult times. Once enrolled, any family that wants to switch from Allegan Online may only do so at a trimester change during a phase where in-person instruction is allowed. As much as I would like to present the plan in order, and because Phase 4 is the most complex, it is actually easier for me to now explain what happens if we are in Phase 5. In Phase 5, we will have students fully face-to-face with the accepted precautions from the Michigan Safe Start Plan. Allegan Online, as explained previously, remains the second option for our families. Phase 4 offers much more choice and local control over the instructional model. Regardless of the debate of the best instructional model, the consensus among our staff and community is that kids need to be in school as much as possible as long as it is safe. Therefore, the recommendation to the Allegan Board of Education will be as follows. We will start the year in a hybrid model of 2 days of in-person instruction and 3 days of remote learning each week. These groups will be determined by Allegan Public Schools, keeping students within the same household on the same schedule. We will also set a target date to return to full face-to-face instruction on October 1st, if we are in phase 4 or 5. There are many reasons for this soft start and phased-in approach. We do not know how students will respond to safety protocols. Students will need to be taught, trained, and they will need to practice safety routines, all while easing back into the school setting. It will be much easier to teach and practice new protocols with fewer kids to start the year. In addition, a hybrid start will allow teachers and staff to feel more protected and supported because they would have smaller cohorts to practice protocols with. Remember, we have to consider all routines, including busing, food service, custodial, secretarial, not just teaching. During this time, we can collect data from staff on how the protocols are working, what might need to change, and what needs to be corrected before all kids return. We will know more about state and national data on the spread of the disease by our October 1st target date. Easing in for a month will feel more manageable as we learn this new normal. An October 1st target is an appropriate goal. The current state waiver that relaxes student attendance requirements expires on September 30th. As we are unsure if it will get extended, an October 1st fully face-to-face target date would place ourselves in a position to have all students attend on count day, October 7th, if necessary. Allegan Online students could remain in Allegan Online as the pupil accounting rules for fully online education are different. While we look forward to returning face-to-face instruction on October 1st, it's important to keep in mind factors that may delay this. The state has moved to phase 3, mandating all schools transition to distance learning. Information collected during the 1-month hybrid start indicates that students are not responding to the requirements and expectations of our Safe Start plan. Inadequate funding limits our ability to supply PPE, or PPE becomes unavailable. The Allegan County Health Department advises that it would not be safe to go fully face-to-face. Student or staff illness during the hybrid start may delay the October 1st target for fully face-to-face instruction or may lead to a temporary closure. There are many more details to work out, and I know that you have many questions that we will answer over the coming days and weeks on our website at alleganps.org/return. Plans regarding athletics, transportation, special education, safety protocols, and many more details are currently in committee and being designed. Despite not having all of the answers at this point, I felt it was time to inform the community about what we do know. The Harvard Schools for Health document states that keeping schools closed comes with massive, long-term, individual and societal costs. Many children cannot effectively learn, grow, engage, socialize, be active, eat healthy food, or get support until schools reopen. Parents and caregivers cannot go back to work until children go back to school. We agree with this statement, but feel that a slower hybrid start will allow us the best opportunity to respond to the actual conditions in our schools. The October 1st start date is a goal that we can achieve, and it will take all of us following our guidelines and exercising patience with one another to accomplish that goal. As always, please feel free to call or email any of your principals or reach out to me. We will be working tirelessly for the remainder of the summer to ensure staff and student safety upon our return to school. Allegan Public Schools members are essential workers, and it is not an overstatement to call them heroes. A well-functioning society cannot exist without our public school employees, and we must keep them safe. As I stated in a previous letter, let's assume positive intentions of one another. We all want what is best for our children, and that is to provide an education of the highest quality while keeping our students, staff, and community safe.